Hello everyone, my name is Jacker, and today I have a story to tell you. A very important story, that is. A story that contains curiosity, woes, misfortune, excitement, twists and turns on every path and every road. A story that will keep you watching. This story has been passed down from generations to generations. It has been told to me, as it has been told to someone else, as it has been told to that person from somewhere else, and again and again. And it arrives to me to tell you. The story has long faded from history books, and I plan to keep a permanent record of the story on this channel. This story can be told in many different ways. It can be told as fast as possible or as long as possible. I'm going to recite the way the story was told to me verbatim. I'm not going to skip. I'm not going to make any shortcuts. I want to tell you how the story was told to me. The story was told to me in the span of 5 days. Each day was a different part of the story. I'm going to tell you all the parts of the story in one video. That's this video. I hope you're sitting down. I hope you have some free time on your hands. I'm about to tell you the story of the Purple Wombat. Let's begin. Once upon a time, in the great state of Minnesota, there lived a young boy with his family. The young boy was named Timmy. The young boy was in the 6th grade, elementary school. He had a best friend named John. John and Timmy were not even comparable because they were practically the same person. They did everything together. They were at the top of the class together. It wasn't even a debate who got number one in the class because they were tied constantly. One would assume they were cheating, but they were separated in the class because the teachers thought that. No, they were not cheating. They were two peas in a pod. You could not separate them. They did everything together. They went to each other's houses at the end of every school day to complete homework and then played Pokemon Blue and Red on their Game Boy Advanced. You could not separate them. They played on the same ice hockey team together. Two peas in a pod. They look completely different. But if you told stories of them separately, you might as well think you just repeated the same exact story. But Timmy's story diverges. When his dad got a call from his work business company asking him to relocate to Texas under a new promotion, Timmy was distraught. He did not want to move. He had his life all perfect. He had his best friend who was doing so well in all his classes. He was doing so well in hockey. Why would he ever want to move? He had no suspicion to move. He had to move, as commuting between Texas would just be too expensive. So at the end of his 6th grade year, Timmy and his family packed up to move to Texas, the grand state of Texas. Timmy cried for many hours on the way there and did not want to leave his newly assigned room for many days. He left over the summer. He cried. Oh, how did he cry? He did not want to leave. After a week or two, his mom forced him to come out. He had to enroll in a school, and of course that required an interview with the principal. He toured the halls of the school, met his teacher, walked down Main Street, saw the lake, and toured his excuse me, and toured his neighborhood. Then he arrived at the first day of school. Timmy got out of bed. Timmy brushed his teeth. He combed his hair. He got changed. He walked down the stairs. Greeting him was his parents, who, to lighten up the mood a bit, gave him pancakes, eggs, and bacon for breakfast. He ate his food, he packed up his things, and went out the door to his bus stop. Timmy went out of his house, and made a right, made a left, made a right, made a right, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a left, until he arrived at the bus stop. And there, he found a group of kids that appeared to be sophomores in high school, talking about something. Now, Timmy was not one to eavesdrop. He did not like eavesdropping. So he tried his best to sit down at the bus stop and to just focus on his first day. He did not even want to meet those kids, since they were sophomores and he was entering into the 7th grade. So he sat at the bus stop. But so precariously, a few words, two in fact, floated out of the conversation between the boys and landed right into Timmy's ear. He thought for a second. He tried to put these words out of his head because it was not right to eavesdrop on such people that he had never known before. But he couldn't bring those words out of his head. He thought to himself, well, one's a color. Okay, yeah, purple. And he thought to himself, wombat. What's wombat? Well, I know that Pokemon is the character is a Pokemon named Zubat. It's just like bad, is it? Wombat. What's a wombat? It's just like this has to be some sort of animal, right? But I've never seen like a purple wombat. What? So he thought to himself, he's like, I have to. He had to ask. He's so curious. He had to ask what it was. So he went up to the boys, talking, and he said, "Hey, I'm new here. I overheard you guys talk about something of the Purple Wombat. I kind of shake off what it was. What is the Purple Wombat?" And the three sophomores looked at him and they said, "You don't know what that is?" Timmy shook his head. "No, I don't." The three boys looked at each other, looked back at Timmy, and said, "You better find out quick, son, because I doubt you will make it through the day." How how is someone brain dead like you not know what the Purple Wombat is? You idiot. Good luck, my friend. Timmy's face became all pale, became all lost color. As the bus rolled up to the bus stop, the three kids went on to the bus, and Timmy dragged his feet up each stairs as he landed onto the bus stop. The bus driver stopped him and he said, "Kid, what's your name?" Timmy said, "My name's Timmy." He said, "Well, Are you new here? Timmy said, yes, sir. Bus driver said, well, my name's Jimmy, and it's nice to meet you. Timmy said, nice to meet you too, sir. And Jimmy said, what's that sad look on your face? What's wrong? And Timmy said, well, it's my first day here. Um, I was walking up to the bus stop and those kids who just got on were making fun of me. They called me mean names. I didn't like that. And Jimmy said, well, what happened? What did they call you? Jimmy said, well, you see, sir, I got out of bed. I brushed my teeth, I combed my hair, I changed my clothes, I went down my stairs, I had breakfast, I went out my door, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a right, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a left, and I arrived at the bus stop. And I saw those kids there. They were talking about something I didn't quite understand, and I asked them, what were they talking about? And they laughed at me. They made fun of me. They called me mean names, and I don't know. And I'm just stuck. Like, it's my first day here, and I didn't expect to be mean. They called me things. And Jimmy said, well, son, what were they saying? Timmy said, well, look, sir, I'm afraid if I tell you, you're just going to make fun of me just like those kids did. Jimmy said, listen, I've been bus driving for 34 years. I've seen things in this bus that you wouldn't imagine. As your friend, I hope that you're a new friend, and you're a bus driver for the next several years, and I hope we can be friends. I promise you that I will not scold you. I will not make fun of you. I will tell you what it is, as it is. Just, what were they talking about? Timmy said, well, I mentioned something of the Purple Wombat. The bus driver took his right hand, put it on the parking brake, on the handbrake, and got up out of his seat. He grabbed Timmy by the arm, lifted him up, and threw him out of the bus. Timmy's knees scraped on the side of the concrete street. And Timmy turned around, looked up, knees scraped, looked at the bus driver standing on top of the stairs, and he said, you are never to ever ride my bus ever again. I don't want to see your face anymore than I have to at this moment. You will be walking to school for as long as you live here. Bus driver got back to his seat, put on a seatbelt, disengaged the handbrake, and drove off, leaving Timmy to walk to school. Timmy walked to school, walked 2 miles to get to school. He arrived, and his teacher noticed that he was extremely late, and his knees were scraped. The teacher asked, Jimmy, what's wrong? Why are you late? What's happened to your knee? What's going on? You're the nicest kid I met when we had the interview. What's happened? What's going on? Jimmy said, well, teacher, I got out of bed. I brushed my teeth, I combed my hair, I put on my pajamas, I put out of my pajamas, I walked downstairs, ate breakfast, said hi to my parents, packed up my things, went out the door, made a left, made a right, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a right, made a right, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a left until I arrived at the bus stop, and there was these kids there that were talking about something I didn't quite understand. And they laughed at me, and they made fun of me, and I was really upset. And so the bus came along, and I walked onto the bus, and the bus driver said noticed something was wrong, and I told him what was wrong, and he threw me off the bus. He took my hand and he threw me off the bus and onto the pavement, onto the ground, onto the floor, and he said, "I'm never to ride his bus ever again." Well, these things, these words are just making my day awful. And the teacher said, "Well, what would this kid say?" Timmy said, "Well, he mentioned something along the lines of the Purple Wombat." The teacher turned around and grabbed his yard ruler. He told Timmy to put his fingers on his desk. He smacked his fingers 15 times, and then his back another 5 times, and said, "I don't want to see your face ever again. I hope you are expelled." And he sent him to the principal's office. Timmy walked his way up to the principal's office and sat down and knocked on the door. The principal told him to come in. The principal said, "Well, Timmy, I just got a call from your teacher. What's going on? What happened? Tell me. What happened? What's going on?" So Timmy said, "Well, principal, I got out of bed. I brushed my teeth. I combed my hair. I changed out my pajamas. I went downstairs. I had my breakfast. I said hi to my parents. I went out the door. I made a left. I made a right. I made a left. I made a right. I made a left. I made a right. I made a right. I made a right. I made a left until I arrived at the bus stop." These kids over there talking about something I didn't quite understand. I had asked them about it. They made fun of me. They laughed at me. They called me names. So the bus driver came in, and the bus driver said, "Well, tell me what's wrong." And I told him, and he threw me off the bus, scraping my knees all over the sidewalk, and said never to ride his bus ever again. I had to walk to school for the rest of my day, so I walked to school, and I saw the teacher there, and he said, "What's wrong?" And I told him what happened, and I told him what the boy said, and he whacked my fingers with his yard ruler, and he whacked me in the back with his yard ruler. Everything just stings and it hurts, and he told me to come here, and God, I don't know what to do. And the principal said, "Well, what would the boy say?" And Timmy said, "Well, listen, you're just going to make fun of me, just like this boy did. You're going to hurt me, just like the bus driver did. And you're going to hurt me, just like the teacher did. And I don't want to say it." And the principal said, "Well, listen, I have been principaling this school for 50 or so years, and I've seen things that you would never imagine. I've seen things beyond your wildest dreams. So hopefully as a friend, and someone you can trust, as a principal of this school district, I promise you, whatever you say, whatever words that come out of your mouth, I'll not make fun of you. I'll not beat you. I'll not do anything to you. I'll try my best to explain it to you so you can understand what's going on." Timmy said, "Well, I trust you. They were talking about something of the Purple Wombat." The principal got up. He stood up, hands behind his back, and walked to the window and said, Timmy, you know what you just told me right there? Timmy said, I have no idea. The principal quickly moved, turned away from the window, put his hand on Timmy's head, behind on the back of his head, and slammed it onto his desk. He said, I want your mother to pick you up right now. I don't want to see your face ever again. Timmy's mom rolled up onto the school. Principal said, take him away. He's expelled. I never want to see you or your family or this kid ever again in my life. His mom argued for a while and decided that maybe today is not the day to put up the fight. So she took Timmy home. Timmy's mom asked, hey, Timmy, what happened? What? I need to hear from you. What happened? Like, your fingers all beat up, your knees are all scraped, you got a big bruise on your head. What happened? Tell me. Timmy said, well, listen, I got out of bed, I brushed my teeth, I combed my hair, I got on my pajamas, I went downstairs, said hi to you, ate breakfast, packed up my things, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a right, made a left, made a left, made a right, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a left, made a right, made a left, until I arrived at the bus stop. And there were these kids there talking about something I didn't quite understand, and I had to ask them what they were talking about. They made fun of me, they laughed at me, they called me names. So the bus driver came around, and the bus driver said, what's wrong? And I said, well, I told them what the boys were talking about, and he threw me off the bus. He took my hand and he threw me off the bus, scraping my knees all over this sidewalk. And he said I'm never to ride his bus ever again. Then I walked to school. My teacher said, what's wrong? And I told him what the kids were talking about, and he beat my fingers with a yard ruler. He beat my back, and said he doesn't want to see me again. He'd send me to the principal's office. So I got to the principal's office, and I told him what the kids were talking about, and he slammed my head on his desk and said I'm expelled. He never wants to see me ever again. And the mom asks, well, what were they talking about? And Timmy said, listen, I fear that you're going to make fun of me just like this kid did. You're going to beat me just like this bus driver did. You're going to beat me just like the teacher did. You're going to beat me just like the teacher did. Just like the principal did. And I don't want to tell you. Because my days, it's just been the worst ever. It's been the worst. Timmy's mom said, listen, I've been your mother for 13 years. I've carried you inside of me for 9 months. I've watched you grow and watched you live. My angel, my sweet angel. I promise you, whatever you say, whatever you tell me, I won't do anything. As your mother, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you. Timmy said, well, Mom, I trust you. They were talking about the Purple Wombat. His mom continues to stay driving, focused on the road, intermittently looking left and looking right. As she saw out of the corner of her eye, up on a four-way intersection with a two-way stop, a Ford F-150 pickup truck. She blew past her stop, right into the middle of the intersection, stopping dead in front of the truck. The truck collided T-boned with Timmy's car, the car on Timmy's side. His mom said, "Don't you ever say that in front of me ever again." And with this broken, hugely dented car stranded in the middle of the road, they somehow drove off, back to his house. The mom saying, "I want you to have a word with your father." They arrived back at Timmy's house. Timmy's dad looking at Timmy, looking at Timmy's mom. Timmy's mom, her arms crossed. Timmy's dad looked outside, looked at the car, and said, What the hell happened to the car? What's going on? Timmy, why are your knees scraped? Why is your head all bruised? Why are your fingers all red? Why is your mom pissed off? What happened?" Timmy said, "Oh, Dad, I don't want to tell you." His mom looked at Timmy and said, "You better tell your father everything that you just told me. Everything that you just told me. Tell him now." Timmy said, "Well, I got out of bed. I brushed my teeth, I combed my hair, changed out of my pajamas, went downstairs, said hi to you, ate my breakfast, packed up my things, and went out the door. I went out to the bus stop. I went on my right, my left, my right, my left, my right, my right, my left, my right, my right, my right, my right, my right, until I arrived at the bus stop. And there were these three kids talking about something I didn't quite understand. And I had to ask them what they were talking about, and they just made fun of me. They laughed at me. They called me mean names. They ridiculed me. And I felt really upset. And the bus came, and the bus driver said, "What's wrong?" Because I noticed I was upset, and he said, and I told him what happened. I told him what the kids were saying, and he threw me off the bus. My knees were scraped, and he told me never to ride his bus ever again. So I walked all the way to school, and I went to my class, and the teacher said, "What's wrong? Why are you late? Why are your knees all scraped?" And I told him what the kids were talking about, and he hit me with he told me to put my fingers on his desk, and he hit me with a yard ruler, and hit me in the back with the yard ruler, and said he never wants to see me ever again, and he sent me to the principal's office. And the principal asked him what's wrong, and I told him what the kids were saying, and he slammed my head on his desk and said I'm expelled, and I should never come back ever again. And I was with Mom on the way back, and I told her everything that happened, and I told her what the kids were saying, and she stopped in the middle of an intersection and had a car hit us, and on my side. And I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's happening. I don't know what these words mean. And Timmy's dad said, "What were those kids talking about?" Timmy said, well, you're just gonna make fun of me, just like those kids did, and you're just gonna hurt me, just like the bus driver did, and just like the teacher did, and just like the principal did, and just like my mom did, and I can't take it. I wanna go back. Crying. Bleeding tears from his eyes. Timmy's dad said, listen, I'm parenting you for 13 years. I watched you grow up with my very eyes. And whatever your mom done, whatever those kids did, whatever the bus driver did, whatever the principal did, whatever the teacher did, I promise to you, as your dad, as your father, as someone who cares for you, I promise to tell you what it is. I won't do anything, I promise you. I won't do anything. And he said, I believe you. They were talking about the Purple Wombat. Timmy's dad looked at his mom, looked at Timmy's mom, looked out the window inside the car, looked at Timmy, saw his bruises and the scrapes on his knee. He turned, facing out the front door window, looking. Looked back at Timmy. Timmy's dad, looked down, took his hands, and removed his belt. He folded the belt one over the other and made a loop. He took the belt and hit Jimmy across the back, across his face, multiple times, and said, Timmy, I never want to see you again. I never want you in this house ever again. I don't want you. I want you. You are now disowned. Never come back into this house ever again. Timmy walked out of the house. He walked until he found Main Street, to the center of the town, and he saw a police officer driving by. The police officer stopped and said, Hey, what's your name? Timmy said, My name's Timmy. He said, Come into the car, let me take you to the hospital. Tell me what's wrong. Timmy said, Well, I got out of bed. I brushed my teeth, I combed my hair, I changed out of pajamas, went down my stairs, and I said hi to my parents, ate my breakfast, packed my things, and went out the door. I made a right, I made a left, I made a right, I made a right, I made a left, I made a left, I made a right, 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 until I arrived at the bus stop. And these kids at the bus stop talked about something I couldn't quite understand. And I had to ask them what they were talking about, and they made fun of me, they laughed at me, they ridiculed me. And the bus came, and I told the bus driver what's happening, and he threw me off the bus. He threw me off the bus, and I scraped my knees all over the sidewalk, and he said, I'll never ride his bus ever again. And I walked to school, and the teacher noticed I was late, and I told him what was happening. I told him what happened, and he beat me with a ruler, a yard ruler, and my fingers in my back, and he sent me to the principal's office. I told the principal what happened, and he slammed my head on the desk. My mom came pick me up. The principal said I was expelled. My mom drove me back home. I told her what happened, and she, I think, intentionally T-boned the car on my side by a truck. I got back home and I told my dad what happened. He beat me with a belt. I just want this to be gone and out of my life forever. And the police officer said, well, what were they talking about? Those kids, what were they talking about? Timmy said, listen, you're gonna beat me just like those kids. They're gonna make fun of me just like those kids did. You're gonna beat me just like what the bus driver did. You're gonna hurt me just like what my teacher did, just like what the principal did, just like what my mom did, and just like what my dad did. And the police officer said, I've been policing these streets for 130 years. I've seen things that you will never have imagined in your wildest dreams. I've captured all sorts of people who you would never want to meet ever. It's people you wouldn't know. People, I have seen it all. I've basically seen it. I promise, whatever you say, whatever you tell me right now, I will not do anything. I will not hurt you. I will not make fun of you. I will not do any. I won't do anything. Timmy said, well, they were talking about the Purple Wombat. The police driver, policeman, pulled over to the side of the road next to the lake. It was getting late. The police driver pulled his gun out of his holster, looked at it, and shot Jimmy in the leg. Timmy in the leg. Timmy screamed in pain. He wailed. And the police driver threw him out of the car onto the side of the lake. And said, Timmy, I'm going to drive back to the police station and send the dogs out to come fetch you. The hospital is 2 miles back. I hope you can make it there in time. And he drove off. Timmy looked the sun, almost now evening, looking at the lake, the foggy lake. Thinking about his entire day. What happened. He wanted to go back. He thought it was just a dream. This was all just a dream in his head. And he had no idea what he was ever going to do. He looked at the lake, the foggy lake. There was a dock and a small rowboat there. He looked at the rowboat drifting, with the waves just going up and down. Timmy. He heard a voice. Timmy. He looked around. There's no one there. No one behind him, in front of him, to the side of him. Timmy, it's me, said the voice. It's me. The Purple Wombat. I'm at the lake. Come to me. He looked at the lake. He saw a purple shimmer in the center of the lake. He crawled onto his. He tried standing up, limping his fragile legs over to the dock, and rolled over and fell into the boat. Timmy, it's me. Come to me. I want to see your face. Timmy took the paddle, and one stroke after another, he was off to the center of the lake. Timmy, it's me, the Purple Wombat. Oh, let me see your face. Come closer. I want to see who you are. Timmy rode with all his might, his adrenaline kicking in. He's going to figure out who the Purple Wombat is. He's rowing as hard as he can. Paddle after another, all his might, trying to see what the Purple Wombat is. He looks closer to the center of the lake. He can see the purple becoming more saturated. Timmy, it's me, the Purple Wombat. Come closer, please, come closer. He rode, and he rode, and stroke after stroke after stroke, trying to see what the Purple Wombat is. Timmy, it's me. Come closer, I want to see your face. He rode so hard. His arms grew weak, his arms grew tired. He dropped the paddle onto the boat. He couldn't take it anymore, his arms failed. Timmy, don't stop, please come closer. Timmy tried standing up on the boat. He tried to see over the fog, to see the Purple Wombat. The boat was tipping. He stood up on too far to the right. The boat capsized. He fell under. His leg, he was so weak, he couldn't even try to swim up. He fell to the bottom of the sea and drowned, never knowing what the Purple Wombat is. The end. So what's the moral of the story? What have you learned? The moral of the story is, of course, don't stand up on boats. I mean, you don't want to do that. That's the one thing that you don't want to do. You don't want to stand up on a boat because you could fall off. Yeah, just don't stand up on a boat. Because you can end up like doing it. You can stand up on a boat and fall down. So maybe don't know how to swim, you know? So key moral of the story, don't stand up on a boat. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, leave a like, hit subscribe. Tell me your favorite part. Leave a comment below on your favorite part of the story. And I will see you next one. Alright, see you guys.